tamstataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaham. So here Krishna is saying, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Prita. And here Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, he wrote his purports very thoroughly and very deep and extremely devotional to Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying everyone is searching for Krishna in the different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahma-Jyoti effulgence and as the all-pervading Supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in a transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as supreme master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as a lover. And still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally, according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. So let's just let this sink in a little bit. So Krishna is arranging that we have the material world is pretty much the opposite of the spiritual world. The main opposition is that Krishna is actually not present in the material world. We cannot see him. And the Jiva is actually taking the role of Krishna as being the main player, the main character. So in each of our lives, everything is revolving around ourselves. And in that way, we're missing out on Krishna's company. So we're pretty much on our own here. In the spiritual world, it's completely opposite. We are together with Krishna, and we're part of his life. So it becomes pretty much the opposite. So sometimes it's said that we are living in the false or in the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Prabhupada says here, in the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they are actually exchanged by the Lord with different types of worshippers. So what are these reciprocations? Let's see. What's it said here? Okay. Prabhupada said there, one devotee wants Krishna as supreme master, another as personal friend, another as son, another as his lover. Yeah, so these are called rasas. Actually, there are 5. They only mentioned 4 here. So 5 rasas. These are loving relationships. Yeah, so what are those 5? So then we have first one. Oh, actually I'm going to change my mic because we got a complaint that it makes too much noise, me hitting the keyboard. So I take... Now I hope this mic is muting, hammering on the keyboards. So it's not as loud. Sometimes I'm not so happy with this muting of noise because it also sometimes mutes our speech also a little bit. So let's hope it's working. Let me know if let me know which one you prefer. Noise reduction microphone or completely open microphone which takes every single sound in. Okay, so we have the 5 rasas. Number 1, neutrality. So that is Santa rasa. So technically, Santa means I'll not write rasa because we already know it's called rasa. Santa means peace. Yeah. And number 2, Servitorship. Or dasa. That also means servant. Yeah. Sometimes also slave, but we won't use that because it has a kind of different connotation here in the West. And then you have a friendship. That's called sakya. Yeah, it means friend. Santa also can means, saintly. Like in Santa Claus, I just write saint. Yeah. So you are a saint, you're a servant, you're a friend, or you are parent. Yeah. There probably is a better word for this. Parental. I forgot what it is. But we can write here about Salya. So that means affection. It means something like that. Parental affection. Yeah. What do you call this? You're going to have the same neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parenthood. Can you use that? Yeah. Okay, so 5. It is uh, lover. Yeah. That is madhurya. That means sweetness. Okay, so then Prabhupada says there, the pure devotees both here and in the transcendental abode associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord, and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. Now, listen to this. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of God. Consequently, they can reach the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord and extinguish their individuality. Some of them, who are not firmly situated even in impersonal existence, return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. Yeah. So this is called Sayuja Mukti. Yeah. Merging with Brahma. Apparently, there are some versions where it said that actually the soul can actually melt together, and I think it sounds very scary. Yeah. And in another version, it's not actually possible because we are eternally individual souls. So at one point, we will get back again. We want to be persons. So don't ask me how it works. In any case, I think it's pretty scary thought to actually emerge and lose your identity in Brahman. The Prabhupada says they are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets. For those who are fruity workers, the Lord awards the desired result of their prescribed duties as a Yogeshwara, and those who are yogis seek mystic powers and are awarded such powers. Okay, so we get a few more categories here. Okay, let's see what are the three last categories. It's Mayavadis. Well, what do you call them? Impersonalists. Impersonalists. Then you have farmers, and then you have yogis. Yeah. So these impersonalists, sometimes you call them gyanis. Yeah. So gyanis, impersonal gyanis. Yeah, because you have another gyani, they can also be devotional. Okay, but impersonal. Fruitive and mystic yogis. We have given all the adjective here. Yeah. So impersonal gyanis, they want to want to merge with Brahman, losing their individuality, individual existence there. Fruitive karmis, they want to enjoy the result of their karma. We call it sense gratification. Let's just make it simple. And the mystic yogis, they want to get siddhis. They want to get mystical powers called siddhis. Yeah, the devotees are not after any of this. But everybody are dependent on Krishna for getting success in anything, also the devotee. Yeah. Kama sarva kamava muksha kama udaradi tirana bhakti yogana yetu purusham param. When one is without desire, so Prabhupada put here that this is a condition of devotees, akama. And that's why I said that devotees are doing akarma. It's not giving good karma or bad karma, it's simply outside, the karmic purview. Yeah. Or is desirous of all fruitive results. That was the karmis. Or is after liberation, that's the jnanis. Or should with all effort try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. So let's go to text 12. Kankshataha karmanam siddhim yadyamta eva devata. I'm reading Sanskrit wrong. That's right. Kankshataha karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha chipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So the purport says, there is a great misconception about the gods or demigods of this material world, and men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different parts and partials. God is one, and the parts and partials are many. The Vedas say Nitya Nityanam, God is one. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme God is one. Krishna and the demigods are delegated with powers to manage this material world. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. You cannot be equal to the Supreme God, Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna. Okay, let's see here. It becomes already enough for us to digest. Yeah, Yajanta Hiya Devata. So, worshipping demigods. Quickly, then Kshipram means quickly. You get siddhi, but now we're talking about siddhi as just in success. Siddhi means different things according to context. Here it means, or you could say perfection in karma. Yeah. So what is success or perfection in karma is to get nice results, become famous, rich, and so on, be recognized as a great person. Yeah. So demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different parts and partials. Yeah. So there is a difference between the owner of the body and the bodily parts. You can say that the hand, you can recognize by seeing a hand, you can recognize the person, maybe. But you cannot say that the hand is the person. The hand is part of the person. So there is a difference between so the way we can understand this is you have the sun, and then you have the sunshine. So what came first? It was the sun who came first, and then the sunshine after. So the sun is number one. So original. And the sunshine. It's it's energy. Yeah, the original, energetic. It's a great difference, obviously. Doesn't take Einstein intelligence to understand this. So the energy can never be equal to the energetic. Although in one sense you can say they're one, but then again they're different. So then you have Chintya, Veda, Veda, Tattva. Yeah. So inconceivable, different, 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 and non-different. Yeah. See, inconceivably different and non-different. Yeah. That's meaning of Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. Veda, Veda means different and Aveda means non-different. So in that way, the parts of God can never be God. It's pretty obvious. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. Yeah. Prabhupada said, anyone who thinks that God and the demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or Pashandi. So, so we can just give up this idea altogether and move on. Chaturvarnya maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram apimam vidya kartaram avyam. According to the three modes, material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet a non-doer, being unchangeable. Yeah, so Prabhupada says in the purport here, the Lord is the creator of everything. Everything is born of Him, everything is sustained by Him, and everything after annihilation rests in Him. He is therefore the creator of the four divisions of the social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men, technically called Brahmanas due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the Kshatriyas due to their being situated in the mode of passion. So we're going through the Varnashram system here. The mercantile men called the Vaishyas are situated in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance, and the Shudras and the are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. In spite of his creating these four divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions. Sorry, because he is not one of the conditioned souls, a section of whom forms human society. See about this. Yeah, so you have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Four classes, yeah? Four classes. Uh, called Varnas. Yeah. Huh. What is the meaning of Varna? It can also mean Varna. It can also mean color, actually. Sometimes it's said like that. So then you have, the Brahmana. They represent white. Kshatriya. It's red. And then there was Vaishya, was yellow. And Shudra was blue. Yeah. I don't know how it was represented. I think they in the Vedic society even was walking in these different clothes actually. Yeah. In Vedic. Yeah. I'm not saying that one should have that, but we can say in Vedic society dress color could signify varna or in skin color. Yeah, but this in the exercise, is it in previous yugas? Yeah. So yuga. Yeah. Oh, so this is proper. The rest of it is proper coming here. Yeah. Just do like that. But anyway, we can read on. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate men from animal status, the above-mentioned divisions are created by Lord for a systematic development of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, the tendency of a particular man toward work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life, according to the different modes of material nature, are described in the 18th chapter of this book. Person in Krishna consciousness are readable in the Brahmanas. Yeah. So what is a person in Krishna consciousness? Sorry. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only impersonal Brahman manifestation of Krishna. The man who transcends the limited knowledge of Brahmana and reaches the knowledge of the supreme personality of God, Lord Shri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness. The verse of Vaishnava. So in that way, you have the system then of Brahmana and Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And then above this, you have the Vaishnava. Yeah, definitely. So which no matter what kind of family life, yeah, is actually above this. However, that doesn't mean that Vaishnava can just go and do any of the different duties. No, it has to qualify as anybody else. Has to take education, has to work properly. So it's not like Vaishnava is just thinking it has a kind of free pass. If anybody think like that, the greatest fools, you can say. No, everybody tries to follow the system properly. It's just that see, the idea with all this is that Krishna is favoring very much that we become devotees rather than being high class citizens in the material world. Of course, it is good to be a high class citizen in the material world. Don't misunderstand, but without being a devotee of Krishna, then it may not be the highest perfection. Still, the highest perfection is supposed to be a devotee of Krishna. Why? Because it pleases Krishna. Yeah. So Prabhupada says here, Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Ram, Nrsimha, Viraha, etc. As Krishna, now here it comes. And as Krishna is transcendently this system of the four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider divisions of community, nations, or species. Yeah. Namam karma nilimpanti name karma pale spriha itimam yo vidyanati karmavena savadyate. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One understands this truth about me that also does not become entangled in fruitive reactions of work. Yeah. So this fruitive, actually it's called karma pala, or fruits of action. Well, Krishna is being worshipped by your work. So isn't that good enough already? Yes, it is. No matter what is the result, to worship God by your work is the best way to go. So Krishna says in the next verse then that all the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature, which usually perform duty following in their footsteps. So it's actually pretty simple. Whatever we work with, really, can be done as an offering to Krishna, because it says Yad Karoshi Yad Ashnashi. Says that another place. I think it's in 9th chapter. Is whatever you do it as an offering to me. Tatkarushvamatarpanam. So if one can actually do that, then one will qualify as a devotee, no matter what kind of social standing one has. So there is actually not, discrimination in a negative way. It's actually very positive, because the only qualification you actually need is just to be a devotee of Krishna. How do you become a devotee? You can just chant Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Those who have a habit to chant the holy name of Krishna in kirtan, in glorification of him, they are stated to be devotees. And the Prabhupada says in the purport here, there are two classes of men. Some of them are full of polluted material things within their hearts, and some of them are materially free. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both these persons. Those who are full of dirty things can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for a gradual cleansing process following the regulative principles of devotional service. Those who are already cleansed of the impurities may continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness, so that others may follow their exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. So that's the thing. But then Prabhupada said, foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Isn't that kind of a paradox? Yeah, one thinks one has, you can say, enough knowledge, but one doesn't actually have. That's called, you can say, a foolish person. And in that way, actually, Prabhupada says that Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by Lord, whom we only know how to act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. Yeah. Just work for Krishna. Yeah. And chant his name whenever you can. Yeah. The simple blueprint for Krishna consciousness. It should sound simple and easy enough. So Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples, such as the son god Vivaswan, that mentioned here in before. Yeah. So next verse, Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo apyatra mohita tatte karma pravachyami yak yatva mokshase shubhat. Being intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Yeah. So don't we already know what is action? Well, obviously we don't, because otherwise Krishna wouldn't have said this. He talks to Arjuna, mind you, who is actually the greatest action person in the world. He knows how to react. He's the fighter. So why does Arjuna need Krishna to explain him what action is? Let's see if Prabhupada gives the answer. He says in the purport, action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accordance with examples of previous bona fide devotees. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow. Good, let's look at the next text. Karmano hi api bodhavyam chavi karmana akarmanascha bodhavyam gana karmano gati. Intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So here Krishna is now breaking down, you can say, the intricacies of action. First, he divides them into three. You have something called karma, then you have vikarma, and then you have akarma. Yeah, so Prabhupada says, so what are these three? So that is, karma is action, akarma is inaction, unauthorized actions are vikarma. Yeah. So Prabhupada says, if one is serious about liberation from material bondage, one has to understand the distinction between action, inaction, and authorized actions. I can write them here so that we see which one is which. So here it's called karma. This is inaction, akarma, and this one is vikarma. Yeah. One has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reaction, and perverted actions. So here we have, perverted actions. That's the same as vikarma. So that means these actions will, give on punishment from the material nature. Yeah. So, Prabhupada says that one has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reaction, and perverted actions, because it is a very difficult subject matter. To understand Krishna's consciousness and action according to its modes, one has to learn one's relationship with the Supreme. In other words, one who has learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an eternal servitor of the Lord, and that consequently one has to act in Krishna consciousness. The entire Bhagavad is directed toward its conclusion. Any other conclusion against its consciousness and its attendant actions are vikarmas or prohibited actions. Yes, the forbidden action, Prabhupada sums it up here, that is simply something that's going against becoming a devotee of Krishna. So to understand all this, one has to associate with authorities in Krishna consciousness. In other words, one has to associate with people who are devotees of Krishna in order to steer clear of doing things that is taking one away from the Lord Krishna. It's that simple. And Prabhupada says, this is as good as learning from the Lord directly. Yeah, to learn the secret from the authorities in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, even the most intelligent person will be bewildered. Yeah. So then, karmaniya karmaya pashyat akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krit. Yeah, one who sees inaction in action and action and inaction. Well, one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in a transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. How is it possible to see inaction in action? And again, how is it possible to see action in inaction? Because that's in the purport. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is factually free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna, therefore he does not enjoy or suffer any other effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Yeah, so the above one, so this is actually inaction. Yeah. Yeah. It's akarma. Yeah. Yeah, but you can say it's called inaction because yeah. So as I'm writing now on YouTube here, the above is called inaction or karma because it is bhakti actions, not recorded, not material recorded in time and space. Yeah. Hence, hence neither good or bad karma is created from this. Yeah. What did you say? No, it's a lot more clear when you just after what you did. Yeah. Yeah, you see, of course, usually we don't talk about inaction in this way. It's just a very specific usage just to make a point. Because, you see, whatever we talk about here really is just from our material experience with our senses. So actually the spiritual situation is really different. It's just like when we talk about Krishna has a lotus face, for example. We can relate to a lotus, which we have seen with our senses here. But actually, Krishna is much more beautiful than a lotus. This has been explained by Acharyas, but we're just using wordly examples to get an idea. So in that way, we can call it inaction because the soul is actually, let's just flesh it out in more. It means the soul is not materially active. Yeah, when he does, Krishna Bhakti. Yes, he also says that later that. Yeah, he is spiritually active, however. Yeah, that's very missing. Yeah. So in that way, you can understand the other statement. In that way, you can understand, action in inaction, because The bhakti yogi can sit and do nothing, materially, and still be active, inwards in devotion.
Sorry.
Yeah. So in that way, you can say this guy is just sitting there doing nothing. You can think, yeah. But the person may be completely active inside, loving Krishna, right? And then externally, another person is super busy, but inside it's not going on very much. He's just on the mental state, right? Yeah. So that's the opposite. So in action. Yeah, you can take it in both ways. So we don't need to write it even. I mean, this needs to be actually understood because words is just doing a little bit. So Prabhupada just puts it very, very simple. It says akarma means without reaction to word. Case closed. Yep. So we can go to the next one. Text 19. Okay. I can put it on Zoom also, the book, if you like it. 419, yeah. Yeah, please read that. Yeah. Yeah, you can just read translation. Yeah. Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this is called Tattva, Jnana. Yeah, the knowledge that beats everything. Yeah, yeah. So saying in another way, it's a knowledge about about the soul. It's a knowledge about the actual truth that beats everything else. It beats every other kind of knowledge. Every yeah. Yeah, because when one actually has the knowledge about one's spiritual identity, it's just nothing can catch you because you're simply not here, right? But the thing is that it has to actually be real. So it may sound very simple, but unless one has actually done the right operation, it's just like a heart operation. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry may come and try and fix your heart, but they may not do a good job. You need to have actually really good heart specialists. I can dig, use instruments and try and make an operation, but who is actually going to do it is a very, very wise person. That's why this person is paid so nicely. See, the heart specialist is taken by the greatest airplane, or helicopter, or all over the world going. Yeah, very important person, right? Person can save lives. So that's the actual guru. Yeah, very important person. When it comes to now, everyone stand up and are getting serious because now the heart specialist is coming. This is the person who is going to save a heart. Yeah. So in that way, one should actually regard the guru. So in that way, that person is supposed to have Atma Tattva Jnana, and this kind of knowledge is simply going to liberate you. Of course, you have to do your bit, and that is to, you can say, helping the mission of the Guru. Yeah, then one becomes, yeah, Adhyatmika. Where was that? Yeah, so it means many different things you can say in different contexts. I mean, it pertains to the same thing anyway. It pertains to the self. Yeah, so Adhyatmic knowledge means spiritual knowledge, for example. Yeah, so that's the thing. And I've talked about this many times before. And Adhydivic knowledge, it means like the knowledge about the demigods and, to be on the kind of, astral level. So then spirituality, religion, all these mystical things are there. And then Adhydivic knowledge is it's a very physical life. Logic and everything is there. Mathematics. It's like pure. You can say cold knowledge. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm not that good in mathematics. I mean, I could be if I studied probably. But I never went into it. For me, mathematics just seemed to be like kind of it's just another form of logic. So it goes beyond logic, the higher levels. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure actually mathematics has its magic also. That actually some places it doesn't really add up. I mean, isn't mathematics also working in the field of quantum physics? Yeah, so that's when kind of yeah. So you're actually saying that mathematics can even be applied spiritually. That's very interesting. I didn't see that, but that's I think I need to have a talk with you later about that. Try and figure out. So because you have this thing that in quantum physics uh, is this thing that everybody talk about that it acts in a different way, the particle, or it acts as a wave. Yeah, according to your consciousness. So how you can put mathematics into that? Ah, yeah, of course, yeah. Right. So so that way, actually, as far as I can see, you can actually, I mean, because it's just words, right? I mean, or systems, you can actually use them also completely spiritually, right? The only limit is yourself, right? Oh, that's great. So that was a good discovery then. So thank you. So we can take next verse. So Nirashir Yata Chitatma Tyakta Sarva Parigraha Shariram Kevalam Karma Kurvan Nopnoti Kilbisham. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. That's working. Huh? What do you say? 21. I don't think that, did I skip a verse? No. It went just very quick. Let's see, what was, no, no, it's true actually. We maybe didn't take that. Let's take 20. It's true, we actually skipped it. I was just testing you, how awake you are in the class. Okay, so you can read that one. Ah, full stop. See, you see what Prabhupada did there? That's the akarma, right? So I just write here now. This involves in action. I just write it like that. That was the meaning, Yeah, so Prabhupada actually writes under here. This is a sign of akarma or actions without fruitive reactions. So it's not that the person is actually active, but it's not going to it's not going to write any activity on the you can say it's not impressed anywhere. Yeah. I actually have to make something about that because this is actually quite amazing. So what creates karma? Okay, so I just have to take this up. It is impressions actually. So hence no impressions, no karma. Yeah. But we get impressions because we are souls. We have conscience. So if you do something bad, it actually creates something bad in us, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't call it bad. In the same way, if we do something good, it creates also something good in us. So in that we create heaven inside or we create hell inside. Yeah. So we create hell inside and heaven inside by our own actions because we know that they are bad or good. Yeah. Now, a transcendentalist, however, let's just say a devotee, a Krishna devotee, let's make it very specific, uh, knows that what he does, now we're talking about, real, can we use the word high class? Yeah. Sounds a little snobby, but actually to be a actual, I mean, it's everything in spiritual life is actually good, even to be snobby. Yeah. Now Krishna, whatever, knows that his activities, knows that his activities are pleasing to the Lord. Hence, only transcendental impressions are made. Yeah. So again, this idea that on the spiritual plane, inactivity means you don't do nothing, or there is no impression. No, the idea is that you don't create impressions, material impressions. It's always this thing. Yeah. So when you say hence no impressions, so I'm just going to make here. So sometimes people are protesting against it. Hey, you said no impressions. Yeah, we said, and we still mean it. It's no material impressions. Okay. So what are so then the transcendental impressions they are called you can say bhakti samskaras. Yes. So what impressions? So what is impression? Is samskaras. Yeah. Yeah. So as we know, I mean, we can say no because we actually, we feel these scriptures are actually telling the truth. We experience that. It's explained there that we're born according to our previous life impression. Okay. We're going to see that more in the ninth chapter. There is Krishna is saying that we were born with the impressions, from the previous life. Yeah. Yeah. So these impressions create something called vasanas. It's tendencies. Yeah. So, for example, somebody has a tendency to be, violent, for example, be a bully or something. That means, in the previous life was like that. Kind of build up to that. So, yeah, you can say it's psychological, or I mean, let's just call it that. Yeah, it's pretty subtle. Yeah. Yeah. Nature. So we act according to our vasanas. Yeah. Okay, so I'll flesh it out. As the impressions create vasanas, which form our nature. So what is nature called? It's called prakriti. Actually, we can even go into the field of Ayurveda. They actually usually call it prakruti. Anyway, yeah, just to separate it from. Usually, we talk about prakriti. We talk about material nature. So in that way, you can. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so actually, our personal nature. Yeah, yeah. Which form our. Of course, now I know what we can just say which form our personality. Yeah. Properly. So in that way, now I don't need to write the second line here. Yeah. So actually, Ayurveda are going into these things also. You can go into quite a lot because they try to solve, your physical and mental issues also. So they take everything into account, previous lives, all the stuff. Yeah. So anyway, we get some kind of idea. So then with Vikarma, of course, you're going to get, tendencies which are, criminal, you could say. Doing a lot of, activities not supposed to, you could say, which are not good for nothing. Yeah. Let's say just to term it as that. The karma are, activities that are not good for anything. Okay. Simply bad. Okay. Is there such a thing? I think we can all agree. Like say somebody gets drunk and smashes a window, right? Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So you're completely distracted. For example, yes, yeah. For example, destructive activities. Yeah, yeah. But there's sometimes people with yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it kills. They killed us all. Yeah, let's just say it like that. Yeah, I mean, we're getting the idea. Okay, so let's get to the next verse. Now we're back to the one I was. Actually, it was very good. You catch that we jumped over that verse. It was a very important one. Yeah. So now text 21. Nirashir yata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraham shariram kevalam karma purvam napnoti kil visham. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only from the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reaction. Yeah, yeah. So this Rigra means to have some proprietorship. But to give up all that, it actually means you are a renouncer. We're talking about actual sage, these which were walking around, just you can say begging, but at the same time they were giving spiritual atmosphere to the cities. And they were speaking wisdom to everybody who wanted to listen. Uh, so these people are then looked upon as innocent saints. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they explained that there were so many sadhus working when he was young, but yeah, no, yeah, that's the truth. Again, as usual, you can have spiritual proprietorship. Prabhupada sometimes said, Krishna is mine, and the devotees were kind of, flabbergasted. They kind of, all kinds of things were going through their head, and they were like, Prabhupada just looked at them again and said, Krishna is mine. It's nothing wrong to say that. This is how lovers are talking, right? They're talking to each other. You are mine. They both say that, right? That's the high level of bhakti which we want to have. And that's called the Madhurya Rasa, actually. To say that one owns the other person. This is very, very much wanted. That's called asakti level. And one has become actually really attached. And from there comes, the bhava and the prema right after that. Yeah. So such a person is of course very lucky to only have that possession of Krishna himself. Prabhupada explained that another place that actually, actually we're getting to it here actually. I'll just go down to the last part of the purport here. It's a very kind of graphic example by Prabhupada there. Yeah, here I'll take just this. Yeah, as a machine part, actually a little higher. Yeah, Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of a machine. As a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance, so Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in the transcendental service of the Lord. It's like the part of a machine. Yeah, you need to put some oil, right? So according to Ayurveda, it's good to oil oneself up. Actually, I mean, like a bit. I mean, it's good. It's good for the body, huh? Yeah. That's a Christian concept also. To be a kind of, they say you got the spiritual oil inside actually, and it's moving up through the chakra system. There is a few kind of Christian mystics who are into this. You get this oil to get up to the top of your head, just where you have, the highest chakra. So yeah, there is something like that. Yeah. And then Prabhupada says he is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. Yeah. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence. So here we come to this, So watch out, no real independence, okay? The idea, that we are independent, you can say, is true, materially speaking. Okay, so let's say it's not true, actually, because materially speaking, we are completely bound up. This is just the truth. By what? by the gunas. What are gunas? Goodness. Yeah, gunas means robe. Yeah. Yeah. So what are the gunas? It pertains, it pertains to the three qualities of nature. Three modes of nature, which encompasses all that we experience. Sounds bad, and it is bad, right? But the Krishna conscious experience, or let's just be fair and say the God conscious experience, okay, is beyond the ropes, you can say, because of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Yeah. So, huh? What did you say? Yeah, it is its effulgence. They are, his effulgence, but makes us, entangled when we want to, enjoy them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So they work, they work in two effects, or in two capacities. One covering us, covering our consciousness. You know, dumbing down, you can say, brain rot, all these things. And then number two, cooling us down. Oh, it sounds like the same thing. Okay, so I take away this dumbing down. So covering our consciousness and pulling us down. Yeah. So pulling us down is kind of, let's use another expression which is easier to relate to. Covering consciousness is attracting us. Yeah. Attracting us. Yeah. Yeah. Attracting us. So we dive into enjoyment. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So as the clock is ticking, the years are passing by, and in that way we are going into the repeated enjoyment of the bonus, and again we take rebirth. Yeah. So it sounds like quite harsh, and it is harsh. So the idea is that we get into the spiritual life, but we get into spiritual life to feel loved by God. Yeah. I just use the word God, because actually that everybody can relate to that, and feel that we an experience actually to be His servant. Yeah. In that state, we are free from the binding modes of material nature. Yeah. So you see, it's not that bad when we take to Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, spiritual life, whatever you call it. Actually, starting to work for God, connect with Krishna, then we don't feel bound anymore. Does it make sense? Yeah. Yeah. So it's only these kind of other situations outside the. I can even write it here. They work in two when we are if I write if, yeah, if we get outside, Krishna's service. This one be redirect. Yeah, how do we get rid of if we lose out on Krishna? Yeah, how do we get back? Yeah, I think actually Prabhupada answers this in the last part of the purport. Let's see if we can extract the answer here. He says, a Krishna conscious person fully engaged in self-realization has very little time to thoughtfully possess any material objects. The thing is that he's just absorbed. He's so busy that he doesn't use time to pamper his own ego too much. And so this kind of self-aggrandizement doesn't really appear because he's simply too busy to find out how to serve the Lord. In the next moment. Yeah, exactly. Because actually it's true love. Because the person actually just wants to please Krishna, and all these things. Sometimes we may think, oh, what if I do this? It's scary, right? Or what will people think about me? A person who has come to such a level of love for Krishna, it actually doesn't give a damn because he just wants to please Krishna. He doesn't mind what people will think about him. Yeah. Of course, he's not a crazy person. It's a very fine thing. He actually works under authority. So it's not just a whimsical, no, it's actually proper work he's doing, right? I mean, forget about all these avadutas and all these things. This really isn't, applicable for us. I mean, these examples are there. I mean, I'm not saying we should forget about them, but we cannot copy these people. We are here to do what we're supposed to do right now, and then we can develop as devotees. That's all we should actually care about, as far as I'm concerned, at least. Yeah. So Prabhupada says, for maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. So in other words, no criminality, no cheating, no need to lie and cheat and all these things, because that just drags us. That's actually Maya. That's the user energy who uh, who thinks, oh, you have to lie and cheat, otherwise it won't work. No, it's not like that. So Prabhupada says, then he does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins, because all these things are, as I said before, they create impressions. Whenever if we lie or steal or cheat, these things are stored in our consciousness. We can't escape that. And they are giving us a hellish experience inside. When you talk about hell, it's not only the hell which may await us, after this life. No, it's the hell we experience, maybe in a nightmare, for example, or just in the living day. Sometimes the mind can be really, really bad, right? You feel like you're going through hell. So these are immediate reactions. Usually, sometimes we can say, Krishna, he just let us run around for some time without getting any reactions, right? He just accumulates them. So they have kind of become enough, and then he just throws the whole big reaction. so so he's kind of he's a practical person. Yeah, there's no need to just have a little small reaction here and there. No, just accumulate them, and then you give a huge reaction. Yeah, I mean, the material nature is really bad. It really is. Usually we just say Krishna, but actually it's not really technically Krishna. It is the demigods who are doing this. So in that way, Hindus, they know about that, so they try to get really nice friendship with the demigods. Yeah, he says that if you worship him, then he is giving you a loan. That's the thing. But usually, when we're not really if you are not really conscious of Krishna, then we're left to the mercy of the demigods. Because they're everywhere. They're not sleeping. They're really doing their job 24/7. Yeah, yeah, of course. We should worship him alone, have bhakti for him alone, because then we will be free from the world of the demigods. Because in the spiritual world, there is no demigods. Well, actually, it said that they are actually there, but they're just part of the lila. They're not actually controlling, the sun and moon, because you don't need nothing there. It's all Krishna's energy. Yes, yes, it is like that. So in the beginning, when one is completely on the Adibautika level, then the demigods doesn't exist. When it becomes a little bit more spiritual, then the demigods are existing, and then one starts, caring more about what one does in the world. And then, even more, then one becomes clear of that actually the Supreme Lord is existing as Krishna. Then one is on the Adhyatmic level. And then, well, actually, the demigods are they're the servants of Krishna in the material world. But they're strict and they can be very heavy. It's better to come to Krishna because only Krishna can give this madhurya, this really sweet relationship. Very few people have actually understood this. But you can have a nice, sweet relationship. Like usually people have an expression of God is that, he's cruel, right? He's kind of, he, he's punishing, the sinners and this and that. Huh? Yeah. Actually, Krishna is not punishing, the sinners. Actually, he's delegating that to Vishnu. Vishnu is punishing. Krishna is just enjoying. He's a sweet expression. He's not violent. In the Krishna Lila, it said, when Krishna, so-called Krishna, is killing demons, it's explained there that actually, then it's Vishnu actually who is doing that. The killing. No, it's actually Krishna who is killing demons. No, it's Vishnu. When the killing of demons is going on, it's actually Vishnu. Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Krishna is not actually, he's sweet like ending, so he's not into all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. So then there will be a mock fight. That's another thing. You can actually take usually these fights will be in the category of Satya Rasa. Because it's you see what I'm trying to say, what I didn't try to say, but now I'm trying to say it. I mean that in Madhurya Rasa, which is Krishna's trademark rasa, he's only sweet and nice and loving. And killing, fighting, chivalry spirit is not compatible with that one. It's compatible, however, with Sakirasa, with friendship. Yeah, it's playing. So fighting and like that is compatible with Sakirasa. So it's just one fighting. Yeah, yeah, but you remember, right? These demons, they are actually Krishna's doorkeepers from Vaikuntha, yeah? They took these roles as demons. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but that's these jivas who can do that, like the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, they're jivas in the category of Nitya Siddhas. They have actually never been in the material world. They only come to the material world to fight with Krishna, and so technically they're not actually in the material world because this is just for the sake of serving Krishna in his lila. So they're actually still in the Krishna you can say bhakti bubble of spiritual life. Yeah, but you can say that they're serving Vishnu. But Vishnu is actually an expansion of Balaram. I mean, it becomes complicated, okay? Because the original Krishna actually never leaves Vrindavan. So when he is apparently leaving Vrindavan, going outside, it's actually Baladev. I mean, it's getting extremely and Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has mentioned this. So go figure, we have to do our own study on this because it's It's pretty inconceivable, the whole thing. Yeah, yeah. So then Krishna is coming personally as himself, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Yeah. But still, the killing is done by Vishnu. So Krishna doesn't need to get his hands dirty, by this. Vishnu is very capable for killing, okay? He had, it said his blood is full of blood always. Because all fighting demons with that one. And his chakra also has blood on it. Because he uses to cut the heads of the demons also in his Leela. Yeah. So Vishnu is very capable for this. So when Krishna is fighting on battlefield of Kurukshetra like that, it's also Vishnu who was doing this killing. Yeah. Yeah, was doing this killing, yeah. 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 Yeah, and Krishna was standing on the other side. Yeah. Krishna was standing on the other side, just shooting, so nobody could escape from that side. And so on each, escape route from the forest, one side Balaram was blocking, another side Krishna was blocking. So yeah, Arjuna was blocking on one side. I mean, according to Mahabharata, and in that way, no animals could escape that forest fire. Well, as I said, whenever there is killing involved, it's actually Vishnu. So in any case, none of these animals could escape, the forest fire. So they all died in there, except for one. How was that story again? Anyway, but within the point is that Krishna is seemingly cruel, but that's as Vishnu because it's in material world. Everybody has to die to continue, rotating. It's just how it is. It's actually not bad for an animal to be, dying because then next life for an animal is always higher species. That's the rule for animal. It's always a higher species. They don't go down in the species. The only one who can go down is the human person. And also, heavenly, a person who is heavenly resident, they also go down in species after, their karma is over for being in heaven. But animals are always going up. So whenever there is a forest fire or whatever, they're shot by a hunter or something, they're always taking a higher incarnation next time, higher, 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 until they come to human platform. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so now we're on the human platform, so now we can try and and at least not go down to animal species. That would be good. Right. Should we read next text? You want to read, Prabhu? Okay, stop that one. Yeah, I think that's very interesting. What does it mean? He does not allow anyone's service to hamper it. Does it mean that? Can we have a practical example? Yeah. So now I'm not going to the temple, right? No, I'm still going to go there. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Somebody else is doing service. Why should that stop my service? Sometimes this is very bad. One can get bad consciousness by looking at somebody else what they're doing. That's another way of taking it. They say, "Oh, this person is doing like this. Now I'm uninspired." Right? Now I don't want to go to the temple because this person is like that. But what's the problem? I'm not the enjoyer. I'm just a servant. I mean, yeah, it's like that person doesn't satisfy me. It's like, so what? It's like, who is supposed to be the satisfied one? It's Krishna. So it's easy. I mean, of course, it's easy for us to say, like when we are doing okay, we can just laugh at this. But actually, sometimes we are tested by this. We don't feel actually happy. We don't feel actually happy, and we feel that we don't want to, But actually, then we should we can try, and read a little in Bhagavad Gita. Usually helps a lot to read a little bit from Gita. Yeah, because I can promise, it's just our mind which has captured us with the dualities. It's not actually the truth. We just get, sour in our brain. Yeah. My Guru Maharaj always used to say, don't look like a rotten banana, look like a watermelon. So, smile like a watermelon. Yeah. He said, we should never, he says, don't worry and don't compare. You shouldn't compare yourself to others, and also don't worry. Actually, Krishna service is always actually easy. I mean, what is Krishna asking? He doesn't ask for us to stand on our head, chant around in cold water or fast, from water. No, he yeah, just chill. Actually, if we could sum up Krishna consciousness, I think would be a good definition for our day and age. Just chant, chill, and be happy. I think I write it there. I thought that was a good. Just chant. Yeah, yeah. Because often we have this chant and be happy, but then we kind of just force ourselves to be happy because we're not actually happy because we didn't chill, right? We have all these issues in our head. But if we chill, then there will not be any issues. So anyway, because it said in the Gita that actually we should just do our duty and try and kind of cool down, not making any bad relationships or look too much at what other people are doing or just we do our own duty properly, then we will actually be satisfied with ourselves. Yeah. Yes. For personal, what do you call it? Aggradation or something. Yeah. For personal happiness. Yeah. 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 What did you say? No, I'm trying to relate it to what he's saying right now. Yeah. So I just write there, it's not difficult. We can just, we can just speak of our needs. Yeah. And chant, Hare Krishna. Yeah, or we can, yeah, or we can read, Bhagavatam or Gita, or or if you can't do the first two things, okay, these are very very demanding sometimes to chant Hare Krishna or even read. Sometimes it seems like impossible. We can just listen to class on the on the Bhagavatam or or Will you take that again? Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing as we talked about when we talked about inaction. It's actually incredibly important at that point to be materially inactive when you're spiritually active, because that solves the whole dilemma. It's just to be somehow or other connected on the spiritual platform and do yoga, the internal yoga. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as I write, do internal yoga, spiritual activity, and and that is called service, the seva. Yeah. So yeah. So Prabhupada says, however, for a service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the material world. He says any kind of action. So sometimes people say, no, I can't, no, Prabhupada just said any kind of action. Of course, it doesn't mean, completely, you shouldn't, do bad things to others. But, I mean, without, by being completely stupid, I mean, it doesn't mean you should keep yourself away from cleaning the floor or, yeah. Yeah, but it should be, yeah. I have to add a footnote here, you know, it should be, right, righteous activities, preferably in the mode of goodness. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Otherwise, will not be no pleasing to Lord. Uh, so bad activities will never be pleasing to Lord. Yes, that's what we with our That's very correct. It's just the gunas, messing around with themselves. Yeah, it's like, what do I have to do with that? Yeah. So, but we're asked to at least come to the platform of goodness, because on the platform of goodness we can do like we are doing now, discuss. I mean, at least from the platform to passion. Okay, we can lower the bar to passion, but at least from passion we have to operate. We can't operate from a mode of ignorance. Yeah. So I write here now. At least we should, we should act from the minimum platform for passion. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, no, actually it's true. See, I'll just delete all of this. Whatever nature you have, just chant Hare Krishna and start your spiritual life. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually the real answer to all this, because you can't say no. Oh, wait a minute, you are too much in ignorance. You cannot do nothing. No, whatever nature we have, simply chant the holy names. And what do you call this thing when you really start to kickstart your spiritual life? Is that a term? Yeah. Yeah. But whatever nature we have, simply chant all nature kickstart. I mean, what can be better than that? I mean, Prabhupada said it 1,000 times. Simply chant Hare Krishna, and it has actually worked. And then if one feels kind of downtrodden or like that, I'm 100% sure one is not chanting Hare Krishna at that time. So then, what you just raise one hands and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then, if you, again one thinks, oh, I'm not feeling happy again, but you just stop chanting Hare Krishna. That's why you again should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So this is the all-round solution to everything. So Prabhupada says here, the duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. So this is a very nice verse. The Sanskrit here says Gata Sangasya Mukta. So every verse 22 now. Vijnana Vastita Chetasa Yagyacharata Karma Samagram Praviliyate. The work of man who is. It's very interesting. Yeah, do that, because here actually I also it's a very interesting. Yeah, yeah. So this we can do now. Yeah. It's just that it didn't look too good when I have it here on the YouTube with all this extra text. That's why I removed it. But actually, I love to have the word for it. So let's read it. Bhakti Sangalsa. So that means of one who is unattached to the modes of material nature. So here, Gata, it means it has gone. Because it's TA in the end, it means that it has happened. So Ga is the same like go. It went. It's gone. So what is gone? The Sangha. So that Sangha also refers to attachment. So attachment is gone. Yeah. So in the old version, one is unattached. Yeah. And then Muktasya. So that Muktasya, it means when it's SEA, it means it means it's like proprietorship there. So of the one who is liberated. So then Jnana Avastita, situated in transcendence. Stita, Stita means to be situated. So it's situated in Gyan. So usually when the word Gyan is used in Bhagavad Gita, it refers to transcendental Gyan, not the material knowledge. Cheta, that refers to the chit, which is the consciousness. So whose wisdom? And then Yagyaya, for the sake of Yagya, Krishna. As before also we learned that the Krishna is referred to as Yagya also earlier. Yagyartat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhan. If you don't do work for Yagya, one is bound by material nature. Acharata, acting, like in the word achar. So we have the whole, acharya, for example. Achar means to act. For example, you have Chaitanya Charita Amrita. Yeah. So Charita means his activities. So the activities of Chaitanya, the Amrita, the nectar of the activities of Chaitanya. Yeah. So Charya is a very interesting word, and it's also used in, for example, the word Brahmacharya. So it means one who walks on the path of Brahman. Yeah. So it means to act, or one who acts on the path of Brahman, like that. And acharya then means acting. So karma, work, samagnam in total. And then praviliyate merges entirely. Yeah. So the work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Yeah. So it's very different. Yeah. 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 So this is very interesting to act. Because we learn, that to act properly as a human being is called sadachar. That's mentioned in Ayurveda. Actually, there's like a whole chapter talking about how to act properly. One should not steal. One should not lie. It's the same as we learn, also in Yama Niyama, or the 26 qualities of a devotee talked about in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, the devotee is out there. He doesn't steal. It's ahimsa. He doesn't do any violence. That means both physical and with words and mind also. Yeah. What did it say? Yeah. In fact, you can mention a few more. Yeah. Exactly. All these good qualities, they're all under the headline of what you want. Because here it's used a long A. That means it's intensified. So it's really good action here. Just like when you talk about Acharya. So you talk about Srila Prabhupada found Acharya. So it's a long A. That means teacher, actually. Teacher means one who act properly. So that's why, in the old days, I mean, there should be now also, a teacher was a person who was not, didn't have bad manners. He had good manners. He was acting nicely. Yeah. Yeah. That's the criterion for actually a good teacher. Acharya has been used in our movement to actually mean you can say, the founder Acharya. Yeah. So here, Acharya is used kind of in Vaishnavism sometimes, or often as being kind of the one who started up the specific, lineage. Yeah. So the Acharya of Iskcon is Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Then you have, so we talk, sometimes about previous Acharyas, right? So then we talk only about, you can say, the great teachers. You can say. Yeah, you have to be. No, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it may sound like a little harsh, but so it means it's not the ordinary devotees. You can say. Because usually most people are not very advanced. So there will always be few people who are advanced. Always will be in the minority. So in that way, we are asked to follow the few ones rather than the rather than everybody or anybody. Yeah. 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 Here it means here it means the here it just means the activities of the man who are Acharya refers also in norm it refers to a person's character also. Yeah. So Prabhupada says, in the commentary, becoming fully Krishna conscious, one is freed from all dualities and thus is free from the contaminations of the material modes. Yeah. He can become liberated because he knows his constitutional position in the relationship with Krishna, and thus his mind cannot be drawn from Krishna consciousness. So here, you again have a quite high bar, not just it's the highest bar. You see what Prabhupada wrote there? He knows his constitutional position. So very few devotees, they know, because it takes years and years of practice to get there. One has to go through all kinds of, yeah, one has to tolerate, not just a lot, but everything really. Um, so in that way, to know that, then one is called stita dir muni. One is actually steady, and one is actually muni because the mind cannot, one doesn't lose his faith. Right? Sometimes if the going gets tough, we may think, oh, this Hare Krishna thing, is like too much. Now I'm going to pack up. But then, that's when you get in contact with the devotee, and the devotee is very nice, and you think, whoa, why did I just think that? I'm in heaven now with the devotees, right? It shifts so quickly. The mind is like that. It hates or it loves. You can't really trust this device. So that's why it's good we have some intelligence, and that is usually built up by years of practice. But in the onset, we can also have that if we really, always remember to chant Hare Krishna, have that deeper inner relationship that we know, okay, we may not like, whatever goes on, but at least we like Krishna, who is a higher silent friend in the heart, right? So that way we can trust that he's having, he's having control of our plan, he's not actually failing. He definitely still needs to follow, his plan. Yeah. So in that way, Prabhupada says, consequently, whatever he does for Krishna, who is the primeval Vishnu. What does it mean, primeval Vishnu? I think it means the height of Vishnu. Yeah, because actually one of the 108 names of Krishna is Vishnu. Actually, it comes from, yeah, it comes from the word Vish. I think I read it as like definition. Vishati iti Vishnu is like the one who pervades everything. Is Vishnu. Because it means to dwell somewhere. Vish. Yeah. Okay, I didn't read that one, but of course it must be correct. Yeah, it definitely must be correct. Please find that quote if you can. But in any case, it's not wrong. He is a nice person. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's see here. We read now the last verse for today. 24. I already set up, how many verses we should have today. Yeah. So this verse is one of the more famous ones. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva Kena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So let's take the word for word. Brahmarpanam. Sorry, there's two words. Brahma, spiritual in nature. Arpanam, contribution. That word has also been used when we talk about Patram Pushpampalam Toyam. No, wait, there's the other one. Is it written somewhere else? Maybe, let's see. Anyway, it's used in another place also, when it means that one is offering something to Krishna. Shetu. Now I also forgot it. Shetu Darpanam. Marjanam. Yeah. So Darpana means a mirror. So the mirror of the mind or the mirror of the heart. Marjana means to clean. Yeah. So that's another one. Well, so then the next word here is Brahma, the supreme, Have, butter, Brahma, spiritual, Agnau, in the fire of consummation. Brahmana, by the spirit soul, Hutam offered, Brahma, spiritual kingdom, Eva, certainly, Tena, by him, Gantavyam, to be reached, Brahma, spiritual karma inactivity, Samadhana, by complete absorption. So you see the word Brahma is appearing a lot of times, and that's because Krishna is making a point here. He says, a person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities which consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. So everything is Brahman, in other words. You have a sacrifice, fire sacrifice. So what you are offering on the fire, the artvanam, you can say. What you actually say, for example, you have a banana. It's like one of the things one often has on the fire. I mean, it's not the main thing of the sacrifice. But anyway, say you put a banana there. So that contribution is also Brahman. The butter is one of the main things you have. That's the ghee, by which you are keeping the fire going. So that is also Brahman. And the fire itself is also Brahman. Yeah. So in that way, everything is Brahman. And you who is doing the activity is also Brahman. Sure. Yeah, because that's the spirit soul. So everything, in other words, when you do a sacrifice, so is in a translated sense, when we are doing a sacrifice, everything becomes Brahman. So in that way, I was learning, from head pujaris in Mayapur. We had, the Archana course for 3-4 months. So because we ask, when there's a big festival. Sometimes, there's like so many people, they come with foodstuff and like that. Not always, maybe up to standard, but it's a huge festival. So many things are going on. And of course, we are particular, everything should be up to standard. Sometimes there may be some mishap, or maybe, not everything 100% correct. But then Prabhu was chanting this verse. He said, that everything become Brahma because it's so condensed. When you have a great say, for example, like Krishna Janmashtami, it's such a high vibe, Everybody's there and so, absorbed in glorifying Krishna on that day. So in that way, everything just becomes spiritualized. So it's not taken into account that, you maybe do a little error here or there, because everybody's chanting the whole name. Everything is just Brahman. So that's what Prabhupada says, a person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom, because with full contribution to spiritual activities. So in that way, everything becomes absolute, and everything which is offered is also of the same spiritual nature. You can put anything on the fire, it's just burn, and it becomes the same. It all becomes fire. So the idea is that, yeah. And that tallies with another, reference which I heard from a Prabhupada disciple, that Prabhupada should have said, to one disciple one time, that if you just chant your 16 rounds every day, then whatever you do for the rest of the day, that becomes, devotional service. Because of the fire of chanting. You dedicate 2 hours a day to chanting Hare Krishna mantra, then, whatever else you do, it will also somehow or other be part of that fire of devotional service. Of course, you need to have a good fire. That's the point. Can't, half sleep and chanting. What do you say? Yeah, you actually do that. I mean, that's granted, because one is following, the Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma, in this call, Yuga, the chanting of holy name is the main, activity. Or easy. Yeah. Getting blessings from Guru. His demigods are happy. Yeah. So they will not make life sour, for us, hopefully. But, the thing is that a devotee is not a kind of sneaky, tricky person trying to take advantage of the situation or anything like that. It should be one actually wants to do something nice. Yeah. Chant all name, would we do our best? Then, it will actually work out. That's the idea. Yeah. So Prabhupada says very nicely in the purport here, how activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. The conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet has to come out of such an environment. So this I also explained before, that Krishna consciousness is actually doing that you can spiritualize your situation. So you have a few objects which are placed in this material world, which are, exit ports to the spiritual world, right? And these objects are, I can write them here. Krishna's, portals to make it a little sound a little exciting, to the spiritual, just like a good science fiction movie. Yeah. So it's like, isn't it some kind of movie where, somebody walks out in the desert and suddenly it's like a circle and then they walk into that and they can get to another. Wasn't that a big movie even? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see that many have copied this or, ripped this up, this concept. Probably it was one who was first. That's some kind of portal and you just go through that and suddenly you're in a different world, right? Yeah. Yeah. So Krishna's holy name, that's one portal. I write names, yeah. And then you have, Krishna's books. And of course, I write here, like Gita, yeah, the book we're reading now, yeah. And then you have Krishna's temple, yeah. No, I mean, we're talking about these things are made with material, things, even the whole names are made with sound, which is uttered in the ether. It's also material object. But because the subject matter is Krishna, it becomes transcendental and it becomes the portal to the spiritual world. So Krishna's deities are another one. Deities. So Archa Vigraha. No. And then you have, now wait for it, Krishna's devotees. Yes, that's the thing. So whenever you meet any of these, they're going to transport you to the spiritual world. Yeah. Yeah, they are like, desire trees. And like, yeah, you can say, they are, yeah, you can get everything you want from them. Yeah, so Prabhupada says very nicely, the process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. So I think we just stop here because we're running out of time also. It's 9 o'clock. So next time we'll start on text 25 and I will do that tomorrow. I'll try and have two classes tomorrow just to catch up from, yeah, one before the Sunday Pro and then one after. Yeah, because tomorrow I'm not required to help in the kitchen, I think. So then I will have time. Maybe I'll do, yeah, because then I will be in the right environment. It will be easier. Then you can catch up online because I will, of course, stream it. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It's very helpful. See you next time. Hare Krishna.